Yo, 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 what's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Nate the Great, coming at you with another live. You already know if you're new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. To all the returning friends and family, you already know it's peace and blessing. I'm going to give y'all some time to tune in case these notifications ain't go out. Not going to be on here too crazy tonight. Just want to chime in with the people real quick, especially those who are thinking about getting into the podcasting on a serious level or anything along those lines. Yeah, some messages for y'all. And, just wrapping it up with the people. First things first, hopefully everybody had a blessed and productive Wednesday. Hopefully everybody got through the work day smoothly. Those who might be going into work, hopefully you have a smooth evening. Keep yourself safe as always. Celebrating birthdays this week or coming up weekend. Happy birthday and continue to keep progressing and just be prepared for all of life's blessings that's coming this year as well too. So definitely keep creating memories. I stress that long enough. Keep creating memories. Appreciate everybody that tuned in yesterday for the conversation. Shouts to Miss 702 for popping in on the panel. I'm still gonna get you, sis. Stop coming up here and then disappearing afterwards. It's all good though. It's all good. It's all love. It definitely was a good conversation that was needed. Those that missed it, you catch the replay. But it's something to definitely think about though. James, what's going on, my guy? I know there's something to think about though. I touched on a couple key points yesterday, and it's true. Um, like I said, with that situation, I'm definitely going to delve deeper into it. But yeah, there's ways to try to suppress certain things. You just got to be a part of it. You got to stand firm on it. The one thing that you should never be able to suppress is creativity. You know, oh, now I done switched up now. Um, Again, this is talking for the podcasters and stuff. Word, what's going on, Mike? I ain't calling you no coach. The approach coach. There we go. There we go. Stage coach. Nah, what's going on, my guy? But for those again, think about just the creativity you bring when you doing your content. One thing you got to remember, whether you're doing this for fair game or just doing it because it's something you like to do, always keep your brand innovative. You know? Always keep something in the wild card just in case. Tamika, baby, you always got to keep something in the wild card. You know, in order for you to keep moving forward with the strides that you already are making, you got to stand your ground and principles on things. Like for those who are trying to make it to where it's lucrative. I mean, it can still be lucrative even if you doing this as a hobby. It can still be lucrative. But for those who are going for the gusto like that, they want that big lucrative. Okay, well, your brand is always going to have to be innovative no matter what. Whatever you bring to that forefront, it has to be consistent. You can't bring the same stale shit neither. Sorry to say it that way, you can't. Like prime example, you can't take content where somebody is just yelling at somebody all day. It gets tiresome after a while. It gets boring. Serious, baby. Jared, what's going on, my guy? What's going on? You gotta always make sure that no matter what you're doing, again, you're thinking. You're constantly keeping your mind sharp. You know, you can be smart, but it's best to be wise. And again, also just make sure that the deals that you are trying to come across, they're legit. Make sure that this is something that, is not short term and you can actually benefit if that's where your mindset is at. You want to benefit off of your podcast or your shows or whatever it is you're doing. Hey, gotta always keep something added to the corporation. No doubt, bro. I gotta catch your replay. Hammer, what's going on, baby? One thing is to know what you're walking into. I can say that. Know what you're walking into. You know, that's just like prime example. Even if you just starting off and it gets to a point where people actually might want to. You know what? He could be part of the squad. We could use him for specific segments and things like that. Okay, cool. But you got to make sure you're not walking into a burning fire. That's the one thing to remember. Make sure that you know and do your research before you just go walking into that building. There could be a reason why things are not going the way it's supposed to be going for that platform or for that station in particular. You just probably don't know. Or if somebody did try to give you fair warning, you wasn't wise to it. 702, baby. Yeah, YouTube been on some bullshit lately. Um, for some of y'all that been creating y'all shorts, for some of y'all don't think I can't, don't think I'm not hitting that like button. I'm hitting that. But and some of y'all cannot comment on your shits, and I don't know why. I don't know what they doing, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, the one thing to remember is again knowing what you're walking into. Because sometimes people are going to build, especially when it does come to that. Might build a little function with it, but you know, you again always are supposed to go somewhere where you appreciate it, not where you just tolerate it. But you got to read the room anyway. Cool gamer, what's going on? You got to read the room anyway. If you going into a situation, and even for an example, okay, you got a shot at what you're doing, you might be making some rave views and numbers and everything. All right, cool. When it comes to certain machines and when it comes to certain platforms, it's not about having the same shit happening over and over again. It's more about for them the views, the content, the money, because that's what it's supposed to be about, right? At least for that conglomerate, you know. After a certain point, you got to make sure too that if you are getting that opportunity, you got to keep being creative, keep being innovative, especially if you have the freedom, prime example, to do so. You might have you might have it the way, okay, well, if I got range and freedom to do everything I need to do, that I know we could be, definitely moving the brand forward, then shoot. And we're gonna have to do it. But in the same token, there are some things that not going to continuously keep doing because you might have people that get tired of it after a while. Like, when they start banning up, there's nothing you can do about that. So now you got to go back to the drawing board. That's if you get to that point. But hopefully you shouldn't. If you maneuver the right way, if you are consistent in what you're bringing as far as the content is concerned, there should be no real issues. I mean, not saying you're not going to have, little problems, little bumps and bruises coming up or going down that road. But it won't be as bad if you know exactly what you're pushing, you adamant on continuously pushing that, and just again reading the room, reading it well. Again, if you're coming into a situation where people are leaving that situation, 9 out of 10 there's a problem. A couple of those situations could be the people who are leaving with their own problems, but then you got the rest of them that they're leaving because of the problems that are at hand within that juncture or that machine. You know, for some of them, they don't give a damn about nothing but just marketing. If you're not marketable, forget about it. You only go but so far. But you could be marketable in your own way, in your own right, if you know how to do it right. You don't necessarily have to always reach to something bigger for you to be bigger. No. You can just take the simplest things that you learn, especially in that experience, and from there, calculate what you need to calculate and then move forward. But again, it's about creation. What do you use to create? That is solely up to you. But again, have a formula. You got to delve into that. Sometimes you really have to delve into the pits of your soul because there's too much creativity. There's too many possible options. In certain instances, while you're doing the podcasting or you're just doing whatever as far as your vlogs or whatever you're doing, you gotta remember there's going to be things you might not want to do, but you're going to have to do. But then again, if you don't see it needs any type of tweaking, then leave it alone. Sometimes it's good to leave things as it is because it's raw, it's uncut, but it's also something that's genuine. It created something that made something go viral, basically. Again, when it comes down to your product, you gotta have the merchandise as well too. It can be the simplest things. Even if it's just selling T-shirts and mugs, that's a start somewhere. Might not want to do that. You might want to push something else. Again, it's about having multiple avenues, especially even when you are doing just that. But again, you just gotta place the right pieces together. You gotta really sit down and envision what it is that you want and what do you see happen. And if you see these things happening, where do you go after you reach your goal? You can set up more things. You know, Again, keep your mind sharp, keep your mind elevated. You don't always have to put yourself in an unnecessary bind. And for some people, you might think it's a golden opportunity when somebody pulls you up for something, but it might not always be that. And if you have people who might have given fair warning without having to give you fair warning, hey, solely up to you what's going to happen from there. But be prepared for anything. Prime example, you could be doing good for that brand. Now that certain things are not hitting the way they was hitting before, now I go back to the drawing board. But you got to make sure again, the people that you're quote unquote building with or have a partnership with, You got to make sure that there is no situation where you could get backdoored or even fired, prime example. You got to make sure that everything that you're doing is legit and lucrative to where even if there is certain snafus, it won't be affecting you at all. Hey, 1 second, y'all. What the hell? Well, you just got to think about that. What is your brand going to be? You know, do you want to take it global or just keep it local or keep it whatever? Again, these are decisions that's going to be up to you, the future podcaster. Um, Also, again, you might be doing collabs or doing interviews and things along those lines. Cool. But again, make sure you collabing with the right form of people. And if you are going to be doing interviews, again, you make sure two things. You make sure number one, the person you interviewing is on time. And number two, just sit back and go over what you need to go over. You're not going to ask them any and every question. And even if you are going to ask certain personal questions, you know, if it's already on record, and they choose to talk about it, they talk about it. If they say they choose not to talk about it, leave it as it is. You got to give the people exactly what they want. Well, that's how they say it should be. You got to give them what they want. It's not always about what the people want. It's about what they need, actually. Some people need the content because the content is consistent on things that they might be going through, things that they might have come across, or they might just want to know something that was basically lingering in their minds. Now they got a clear answer on it. It's good to go from there. Appreciate you for dropping those links, serious baby. But you don't dwell on things if it didn't work out. Promise, Anthony. If it didn't work out, don't dwell on it. Don't get upset about it either. Um, you know what you learned, and now you basically are just gonna have to move from there. Okay, this didn't work this time around. I'm not going to completely scrap these plans. Maybe I could tweak something. Maybe I could, you know, reintroduce something into it. Maybe I could put some new key pieces and elements into it. That's what you got to do. Again, you don't scrap and exit out every plan. You know, the plans that might work for you, hey, you do it, but you do it consistently. Like prime example, there's some people who have transitioned from how they do content. Some people is trying to find their way on here to a degree and on other platforms. It wasn't hard for them to do. When they realized at some point that certain things wasn't going to take its course, okay, well, let me do this now. Again, you got to find the things that you know are going to work for you and not against you. You got to remember that part, though. Um, can't work against you because it can work against you only because if you're doing something that the people just don't perceive as, genuine, they don't perceive it as something that's needed, you know, or, it could trigger the wrong type of people or wrong reactions. You don't want to, definitely don't want to get into that. Or it could get to a point where they might take some of your content down, depending. Again, it depends on what platform you're using and how you're utilizing it. And there are some people who are utilizing multiple platforms, but there's also some people who think that it's going to be easy. And I'm going to say for those who are trying to get paid, if that's what you're trying to do, it ain't going to be as easy as you think. It could be easy getting in, but it ain't going to be easy to keep it. You've seen some big platforms and some small platforms, prime example, lose monetization or lose all of that just because of specific content or just the same rhetoric that's almost getting viewed as hate speech or so on and so forth. We see this shit. In other situations, they can take down your content because you might have said something, or even if you didn't say something in the midst of whatever, somebody in that vicinity or that room could have said something to where it became a problem. You got to be mindful of certain words you saying on some of these platforms because that could even mess you up. You know, you know. I hear you. I hear you. 702. You're not supposed to, because like I said, some people are doing it for entertainment and because it's a hobby, but some people are using it because it's lucrative. You know, some people are going for the lucrative and for the big time. Some people ain't. Some people are just doing it because it's good, but it also gives them multiple doorways into different ventures of life. Not everybody. Prime example. You see how we do it. See how you do it with the music. Not everybody is just producing music now. There are people that are doing other things outside of music now. When you brand yourself, you got to keep promoting yourself in the highest value. You know, it's not just about the financial part of it. You know, but if you want it to be that, well, then guess what? You got to sell yourself and keep improving yourself. You're not going to get these big deals that you thinking if you know you're not producing what you should be producing. You know, oh, we had one in here. Oh, we had one in here. Oh, good one, good one. I know. Well, you can get this too.
And she wanna get the fucking. She think I'm a cheater, but I really don't do nothing. So why the fuck you always up to something? So why the fuck you always up to something? These women will come and go. So why the fuck you always up to
Damn it. Now sit in the shadows and learn something, young Padawan. And you won't keep getting sniped out of a chat. Giddy baby. Those who just tuned in, you already know hit that like button. But nah, you gotta be consistent on that. You have to. And you are gonna have to fight tooth and nail because you're supposed to make sure you get what you deserve, not what they deserve to pay you. No, you get what you deserve. Period. Even if you lock in something lucrative, prime example, you gotta make sure that it's gonna be beneficial for your brand and not detrimental. You want to make sure you are getting everything you are supposed to be getting included in your deal. And if you have a clause in your deal, they got to respect that as well too. But it's good to have lawyers when you start getting to them points of talks and shit like that, or even people that just know the insides and outs. So you're not so much as just getting ripped off. You're basically positioning yourself in the right order. You know, whatever you're marketing, you keep marketing it. And you also bring other things to the forefront that you can market. You know, again, it's about consistency, and it's also about the quality that you producing when you are producing the content. You know, so like if you are going to be doing a podcast with, whether it's a daily podcast or doing it every other day or you doing it once a week, you got interviews that's lined up and scheduled, you do what you got to do. Chef, what's going on, my guy? Appreciate all you mods that's doing what you're doing up in here. Appreciate you for dropping those links, series, baby. Working harder than these damn sanitation people, baby. You know, for the other mods, you already know what to do just in case. We're going to get them fools coming in. They miss me. They love me so much. They love me so much. They love me too much. They love me too much. But, this is the truth, though. You never just blindly walk into something without doing your research. You know, do your research, and then from there you move forward with what you want to move forward with. And again, if you're going to produce the greatest content, you know what you need to do to produce it. Prime example, you want to use the platforming for gaming and shit like that. Okay, you already know you need the microphone, the gaming headset, all that other shit. You need your streaming device to be, strong, Wi-Fi strong, especially if it's dependent on it. Is a lot of different factors. And even if you don't got Wi-Fi, you better have a whole bunch of data that you can run up, especially depending on how long you're streaming. It depends on what you're doing when you're broadcasting on your platforms. Got some people who are utilizing it because they just love to play music. Nothing wrong with that. You know, and even that could be lucrative. You know, even if you ain't going for that, it can still be lucrative. Because you'll have the right people who are gonna either donate, or you have the right people that if you doing the right things, you bringing the right type of vibes and the situations. Oh yeah, they're gonna be, they're gonna be very thankful. But again, you gotta remember to stay humble on your road to whatever you're doing. And keep that, you know, keep that mindset, and you should always have that mindset like you're still hungry to get it. Even if you already up to your goal, still move, you know, still keep active. And once you feel you are in a great space where you don't have to do as much, you sit back, relax, and let everything just formulate. You know, let everything come together collectively, and it'll work out for you. You know, you can get it to a point where you don't got to do much of nothing, but just push a button, and that's it, and you're set for the day. You know, you know what you're going to do. You know what the stream is. Your quality is where it need to be at. If you have to tweak and do some editing if you need it. But other than that, keep everything where it needs to be, authentic. The one thing to remember too, if you are going to be doing interviews and sitting down with people, again, you got to know exactly what your topics of discussion are. Now, if that person is coming to promote something, hey, let them promote. Yeah, I mean, you ask them some questions and everything else in particular, but some of the questions should be preferring or referring to what the person is there for. Like I said, a person could be promoting a new book. All right, well, ask a couple questions about the book in per se, so on and so forth. You know, trying to help that person market that, gotta do it the right way. But again, just from the spirit. Do it from the heart. It's about it's all about the progression that you are pushing forward. In order for certain things not to be stale and stagnant, sometimes you might have to think outside the box and not so much tread lines, but you know, gonna have to get some ideas on what it is you want, what it is what is your target, you know, what is your main target, what is your main purpose, From there, you smoothly move forward. All right, I want this to be a political show, prime example. Well, you got to know about all the politics that you're about to cover and discuss. Whether it's world politics or political politics, don't matter. Susanna, baby, you got to have knowledge and wisdom on what it is you're bringing. You know, See, prime example. Even if you're gonna bring a show where you're just having the daily talks and topics, you got to know exactly what you're speaking on. You got to make sure that the people who might pop up are knowledgeable and staying on board with the conversation. You know, and even if there's more than one thing being tackled, again, knowing that you're supposed to have a legitimate and a respectable, broadcast is the most important thing. You can't have great talks and conversations, prime example, if everybody's arguing and fighting, which is the truth. You can't do that. Like, how are we going to get to a better common ground on things if we're constantly yelling, nagging at each other, and disrespecting each other? This is most important things you can think about. Creating quality content. And giving a quality space to say, well, if I know for a fact I have free range to completely speak my mind and produce what I want to produce, and I don't have to worry about nothing outside of maybe a warning depending what I put out. Hey, why not do it? Some of y'all might have broadcasts where you're just giving inspirational. My fault, hitting this damn phone. Hey, those inspirationals help and they work, especially for people who might be going through something. You might be reaching somebody who actually needed that. So again, it's about putting out quality content, no matter what it is you're doing on that platform. Like I said, even if you're doing music, you want to make sure everything is quality. You want to make sure your music. I did it again, damn it. You want to make sure that the music you playing is not going to be any form of an issue. You don't have no form of copyright claims or anything else along those lines. Also, you want to make sure your music is crisp and clear, so your audience hears. So everything is everything. Definitely gonna have to entertain the crowd, and you're gonna have people that's gonna be within them chats. Depending on how you streaming, you got to pay attention to all of that. Like I said, it takes a collective when it comes to certain things, especially on that podcast level. Even if you're doing it for Dolly, prime example, you still got a lot of things you need to put into progression, and there's things you're gonna have to learn on the blink of an eye because it's either now or never. So it's a lot of different things to calculate and assess. Once you assess those situations, now you know how to push the game forward. You should want to be in a position to where, even prime example, if you did get picked up, even if it's for that small time frame, you want to have an exit strategy of your own. You know, that's what I'm saying. You gotta have that. You gotta have that strategy because, prime example, you could get picked up for a show. They might give you a little whatever type of deal. Prime example, but if things don't work out the way it's supposed to work out, 9 out of 10 they're gonna start making cuts. So you could be on that chopping block, but you better make sure you are gathering up everything you need to gather up, producing what you need to produce. So just in the event if something does go wrong, you get the boot. Prime example. Okay, well, you got your own platform now. You can go build everything that you was going to bring to that other platform to yours. You know, some people are going to do that. Some people might get lucky. Get a little something going with major broadcasters and stuff like that, media outlets and stuff. Okay, cool. But you know what comes with that. You know, it always got to give you. It got to give you free range. Because creativity should never be stifled. Now, yeah, there might be some things you might have to mute, but then again, it depends. If you standing on firm and just doing what you're doing, hey, man, you keep doing it. You could be having a podcast where you could be talking about a whole bunch of situations that could be controversial. Does that mean you stop? No. One thing I can say is if you're doing certain topics, even if you don't have people you interview, you're doing certain topics, make sure that these topics, you know, are being called down the middle and being called from a certain position, period. You know, one thing to clearly remember is got to give fair warning to some people, especially those who might be new or might just be coming in. You know, it could be your luck. Prime example, somebody is coming in new to the channel. You could be talking about a specific situation at hand, but then it could trigger them and they probably leave. Give people fair warning. You know, sometimes you're gonna have to post that up either in the community boards or whatever else, like warning content. Could be triggering for some, etc., etc. You do what's needed. So this way the people know what it is. Like, look, I granted it could be triggering, but this is something that I had already had planned to discuss. You know, and if you want to be part of the content, cool. If it's too much for you to bear, I completely understand. You know, I gotta be part of all that noise in the background. I know what it is, though. Yeah, you just gotta think about it. No matter what you're bringing content wise for your platform, just gotta make sure that the people are vibing to it and that they're gonna continue to come back. Loyal following and everything else, how they say it. Your loyal followers or your loyal, subscribers, however you want to say it these days, man, you know, they're gonna follow you. No matter what platforms you building on, if they know you building there, they're gonna follow. And that's the most important thing to remember too. It's all about the most important people. It's all about the most important relationships and vibes that you build while you're building. Lucy, baby. You know, that's what I'm saying. You know, it's just critical things to think about. Like prime example, you don't want to have a show where or a segment where almost every day it's a dude yelling at a chick or vice versa, a chick getting crazy and yelling at a dude being disrespectful. No, you know, after a while it becomes stale because it's like, is this what's going to happen every time you have an interview? You know, like come on. And again, you got to think about it. Some people are letting things just roll. So if you didn't catch the live then, guess what? You're going to catch bits of a replay, whatever they ain't clip out. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just things to really think about. You want your show to, to be impactful and yet and still fun. You got to know what to incorporate as far as fun is concerned. You know, be careful on that. You know, because again, you want it to be impactful. You know, you're gonna have to bring every bit and every inch of your talents to the forefront. You know, at some point you would have an end game because there are some people who are not going to do broadcasting or media forever. Some is just the means to gains to get into another doorway. You know, especially if they feel like it's on the verge of becoming, more sound and more lucrative. You know, but again, you got to read everything, contracts. Make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Make sure you're not signing nothing that sounds too shady or shabby. Nah, some people they get the money that they get or they get the deals they get because they assert themselves. And that's one thing to remember too. When it does come to those big meetings, you gotta assert yourself well. Don't never just take what's being given to you. You fight tooth and nail for what you're worth. And especially if you know what you're worth. You know, that's why we always also say to a degree, know your self worth. It does play hand in hand, especially when it does come to business. Know your self worth. If you know you worth the $50,000, shoot, then that's what you're gonna have to do. Prove that you not just worth the $50,000, but shoot, get it to where it probably be more than that. GJ, what's going on, you shadow baby? Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Nah, but you gotta watch out for what you signing nowadays. And if something don't look right, something don't seem right again, got to go back to that drawing board. You got to learn how to counter offer, basically. It could be an offer on the table, but you could counter that offer, especially if you feel you worth more than what they trying to give you. Prime example, I'm going to use this as an analogy for those who do play 2K. You see, when it comes in my career, um, you see when it gets to that point where they start talking about deals and stuff, you can counter offer that too. If something look like, all right, we need you to do this, but you're gonna get this plus the incentives. If it seemed reasonable and seemed like it could be done, all right, cool. But if it seemed unreasonable, then gotta make that counter. Make that counter offer. You know, yeah, the fine print, and that's something you got to be aware of too, because some of these contracts still got fine print. You want to make sure that whatever deal you're signing is going to be again great for your brand, great for the people around your brand, and great for your family. And you also got to make sure it's not to a point where you're going to end up struggling. You know, again, be careful of those 360s and anything else that just seem like you're not going to get what you're deserving of. You know, again, whether you young, middle aged, old, and you coming into these form of deals, no matter what you're doing, again, be aware of what you're signing. Mess around and sign the wrong type of deal, and you could be stuck with that deal and that contract until God knows when. And in certain situations, I would suggest for some of y'all have that ironclad contract for real. Um, that will always come in handy because again, no matter what's happening, um, even if somebody's going to try to pick you up or try to do a venture with you, uh, this is what you got to abide to, and this is what is a fixture of what's going to be needed if you are requiring my services or anything. Yeah, and that's a whole fact, DJ. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to be mindful and careful on that. Be aware of everything that you're doing as far as your brand and your building and your structure. You could be collabing with somebody to do some merchandise. And prime example, you know, y'all both got to be able to come to terms with what you got to come to terms with. Y'all sit down and y'all figure out how y'all gonna split percentages and all of that. But for some people, I would say again, have this ironclad contract because regardless to what, they gotta respect everything that's in that damn contract or that clause that you have. So if you saying specifically this is something you don't want and you are not gonna be a part of, they have to respect that. It's not just gonna be, oh well, if you can't do it, you gotta leave. No, 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 because you fucking hired me. And if you get rid of me just because of this situation I don't want to be a part of, then you're gonna have more problems. You know, you just gotta know your ways, ins and outs when it comes to marketing, when it comes to dealing with lawyers and everything else along those lines. You get them little bits and pieces the way you need it, and you pretty much know what you do from there. Yeah, exactly. Who want to go through all of that? But again, you gotta know what you're signing. You know, and you gotta make sure that whatever you're signing is going to be lucrative for you. You know, but you just again don't set yourself up for failure. Put yourself in a greater position. Put yourself to where you will always be some form of lucrative. Got to have backups and contingencies as well too, just in case. Because there could be certain situations, like I said earlier, probably mess around and get backdoored even out your own company. I could remember a couple years ago, dude that was head of this security company. Well, he was him and another dude was partners, and one of the partners got backdoored out the company. How are you the founder of a company and you get backdoored out your own company? And it can happen if you're not careful, if you're not wise with who you choosing to put on your team, especially when it comes to real legal documentation and things like that. You could be seeing yourself outside. You know, yeah, nah. It's on that basis, GJ. It is lucrative to them is money. Because that's what some of these people are for anyway. Like I said, I'm not mad at you if that's what you're going to do. But you better make sure you sign the right form of contract and don't think that just because you sign something off the rip, you're going to get that money now. And if you do get it, you better, utilize it and be lucrative and trying to flip it. Put your best thinking caps into motion, and that's it. Continue to keep building and creating whatever content you know is working for you. And again, whether you doing it dolly or got a small team of people rocking what you doing, whatever, hey, when it's all said and done, make sure that everybody is where they need to be at. You know, make sure everybody is where they need to be at. Everybody is playing their position well, and everybody, you know, is going to be able to prosper. You know, for some of y'all, you're going to have great content, even when things go left. But the main thing to remember is keeping consistent. Things shouldn't always turn left. You know, BMF, what's going on, my guy? I already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. And if y'all new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. You could be doing a podcast where you're doing just nothing but reactions, prime example. But again, even some of these reaction channels that you see on different platforms, they always add something different to the element. Nah, it's a whole fact. Can't. The content is always supposed to be the purest. So you do what's necessary to keep that brand pure. Keep incorporating new things. And again, don't sell yourself short. All right, if certain things didn't work out this time around, okay, well, try again. You have to keep picking up and pushing forward, no matter what the cost. You know, and that's on any platform. You're not going to reach your highest expectations if your goal is to get paid. You're not going to reach your highest expectations if you don't put in the work. Definitely don't put the time and put the skills in. And again, you just got to be aware of the content you bring in and make sure that the content is not offensive. It doesn't get deemed as hate or anything else along those lines, because you know how they do it. But again, whatever floats your boat as far as the content you're bringing, hey, make sure that it's going to be not just exceptional, but make sure that it's memorable. Because think about it. If we think about it right now, there's a lot of new podcast shows, whether they big time or they still small time, don't matter. A lot of them are doing what they're doing because again, the focus is the content. You got to edit out some things and tweak some things just to make sure that everything is everything. And hey, that's cool. But you want to have those who might have a buzz in the wave right now, and that buzz in that wave could be gone in a minute. You know, again, you got to make sure you never stay stagnant. You know what it is with that part, GJ. That's because again, some of those people, they looking for the quick come up. They're not looking for again trying to progress and grow. Now again, you might not get crazy. You might not get crazy dollars on here. I'm sorry to say it. You might get paid, but you ain't gonna get paid crazy dollars. But if your sole purpose is trying to get the lucrative dollars like you say you're trying to do, then you're gonna have to be on other platforms. But again, you got to make sure the content you're bringing is not offensive. It doesn't violate community laws and guidelines, all the other shit. So something to think about. And even if you are going to do it, guess what? It don't get real lucrative until you start getting them sponsors and them donors and shit. So you still gonna have to grind, regardless to what. Some people think you're just gonna come on and I'm gonna make $10,000 within this first thing I do. No, you better hope you even get at least a certain amount of people in there to really push the content. See, I believe on here the reason why some of the people ain't hitting the algorithm is because again, it ain't too many people hitting that damn like button. Now I used to get mad when people used to get crazy about it, but now I see to a degree why. Because in certain instances, that's going to push the videos into the algorithm, whether you monetize or not. I done seen some monetized channels get crazy play just because, again, that like button was up 50, 60, 70 likes. Things along those lines. It keeps pushing you into the algorithm. Ran all that. But you got to remember, more than anything, it's about consistency. So stay consistent on the goals at hand that you have. Stay consistent on the things that you bring to the table. And again, keep growing and elevating. Keep humble. Things will pan out the way you want it to pan out. And even if you ain't focused on the lucrative part of it, if you're just doing it again because you enjoy it, keep putting out the best premium content that you can. Chip, what's going on, my guy? The link is in the chat in case anybody want to chime in on this topic. Well, in my opinion, the best way to always maintain a perfect balance on things, again, just knowing how much to put out, knowing what to keep in the chamber just in case, but more importantly, just again believing in yourself and believing in where you think your brand can take you. Just believing in yourself and believing in the steps and the processes you took to get to your successful points. Implementing something in your mind about just keeping hungry, keeping starving. Got to. Shoot, in my opinion, like I said, and I said this a while back, you gotta have that winner's mentality like Jordan to a degree. You gotta play every damn game like it's a game seven and it's do or die. Just like with every deal, you got to play every deal like it's a do or die deal. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Have a good night, Tamika, baby. Is what's going on, my guy? You know, again, even if it's something that you're doing for hobby, guess what? Still bring something that the people will always have memories on, and just bring something that's going to be consistent. You know? There's people right now who are growing on different platforms, and they don't put out as much content as you think they do. But they still getting the numbers, they still getting the new subs and all because again, it's the quality of the content. I know a dude personally that I see every damn day. I got his YouTube page. I gotta scroll through it though. He got caught and lost in that list. But he ain't been on that platform in probably more than 4 years. He almost up to 100,000 subs. Why? Because again, it's the quality of content you put in. Even if you're just doing beats, even if you're doing producing or anything along those lines. Again, it's about consistency, you know. And some people are not going to be able to give you content every day. Some people will. Some people will give you content a couple of days out the week. It all depends. Depends on the person's schedule. Person like me, prime example, y'all, some of y'all that have been here and seen this shit, I give you content from sun up to sun down. Especially if it's something that need to be talked about. We in here. You don't necessarily have to break the you don't necessarily have to, break bonds neither, you know. Never push yourself the way you feel like you can't create anything else. And to be quite honest with you, there are certain topics of discussion that will always keep getting brought up because there might be different cylinders. There could be things that affect us right now that could be a part of that conversation. And it could be a daily routine. Different cylinders of it. Like I was talking about yesterday, prime example. Gun violence. For some people, yeah, it's we don't want to hear that, or we just keep hearing the same old. But this is the problem. Yeah, you sick and tired of hearing it, but you're not listening to the complete message. At certain points, you want certain things to stop. What are you going to do to stop it? And stop thinking that you can't stop or you can't produce or that you can't put up a good fight to get some form of change. But again, you got to know yourself. You got to know yourself, know what it is you want to do. And if you are going to step into broadcasting in any way, shape, or form, again, you got to build. You got to maneuver. You got to definitely network. That's how you grow. But you grow organically. You can tell when somebody is growing organically and when somebody has mass produced their success. And that production might not come right away, but it does come. Big facts. Nah, it's a whole fact, GJ. And definitely prayers to those in Florida right now who are going through the Hurricane Milton. Y'all just already dealt with, what was it, Helene or Helen? Yeah. Um, Again, prayers to y'all out there. Hopefully, y'all keeping yourself safe. And if again you have to evacuate, especially those who rock with your boy on this channel, for those in that Florida area or anywhere where that storm could be at right now, make sure y'all keeping yourself safe. If you have to evacuate, do what you need to do. Your life is more important than materialistic items. You know, just be safe out there. Make sure you got the proper food and everything else you need. But again, you gotta know yourself. You gotta know what you are willing to bring for real. And again, no shortcuts. There is going to be no shortcuts when it comes to success. You can make short-term goals if that's what you want, but you should more think about the long term of things. You know, if I do manage the market and do everything I need to do for this platform and for the brand, okay, now what else do I see myself doing? What can I put in my grasp that I don't have to worry about completely going bankrupt or losing out on possible buyers and everything else? You know, there's a lot of things that are needed in order to, formulate a good plan. But when that plan is perfectly executed, now you an adult. Quality over quantity. Some people are giving you quality content, and again, some of these people don't go live or they don't do uploads every day. But when they do something, it's impactful. It's something that reaches. You know, but I've also felt this way too. In order for you to grow, the people gotta want to see you grow. The way they see you grow is by making sure they like, subscribe, or share it out. Doesn't matter what platform. But you also got to remember when one platform is not doing well or it's not doing what it needs to do for you, you build elsewhere. See, I know what it is nowadays to a degree. In certain scenarios, there's some of y'all that you're not going to want to download these new apps, not going to want to have to go through the hassle of doing this and doing that. But in all actuality, it's needed in certain cases. Because again, if you see that a person is building on more than one scenario, and again, if you are a true supporter of the content and what they're doing, why not try to follow them if you can follow them? Or at least follow them on the main platforms they do inform you on, because you know that's where they're going to be at. But you got to always keep re-inspiring your thoughts and ideas. Keep influencing yourself more than anything. Sometimes you might have to take a step back and then analyze everything that's within your realm and make sure that everything within the realm of building is still going accordingly. If there's some things you might have to get rid of, prime example, because it's not doing nothing, well, then you get rid of it. You might have some plans, prime example, that you might not have utilized yet, but you're trying to wait for the perfect time to utilize them, and you do so. You hold back on those. You got to focus on the most important things that's keeping you not so much as just relevant, but keeping you consistent. Because you could be a relevant content creator, but not consistent. Once you learn certain streaming platforms and services that you're using, you pretty much know how to move from it. Prime example, there's a lot of people who know how to utilize StreamYard up and down. Some people don't. Some people are not taking advice from people, and there are people who are around them that are giving them advice and they're not listening to it. There's certain platforms you could link StreamYard to, so it'll be easier for you to keep promoting and doing what you need to do. Nah, it's a whole fact, bro. I see what you was writing in there just now. Yes, it's a whole fact. You know? And again, when somebody is consistent and they are adamant and determined on building and moving forward with whatever plans they need to, they're gonna do it. In order to keep your brand where you need to keep your brand at, again, have the right type of team, or at least the right type of advice. Whether you're deciding to build something big and making a conglomerate, everything has to add up. All the key pieces that you're bringing together have to be able to coincide with each other, and it has to be consistent. Again, key word today is consistency. Be definitely focused and trained on everything that you do. Also, another thing to remember is that even if you're going to be broadcasting and you might be having talks and discussions, make sure that if it's a panel full of men and women, or even if it's a panel full of men, or just a panel full of women, that there's some form of civil order. Because we're all coming here to voice our views and opinions and even bring some facts to the forefront. So, in order to do that, we cannot be attacking each other. We might disagree with each other on something, but we shouldn't be spazzing out, foaming out the mouth and everything. Again, about being reasonable. And again, it's about how the content is going to be pushed. And you can't bring people also onto your platforms or into your spaces if there's going to be situations. Prime example, you can't have an interview with people. Prime example, you can't have an interview with two different people at the same time and knowing those two different people are beefing with each other. It would have to be a back and forth interview. Look, I'm gonna do this interview today, and I'm gonna do this interview tomorrow. And if you are going to be able to say, "Well, listen, I know this is what it is," you got to be able to, to market, but you also got to be able to know how to talk. You know, if I know I got two people that could be beefing, but I can put them in the same room, have a conversation about the problem, or just not so much as be a mediator, but just prove to people that look, people could be having the biggest issues and can still come together and put together classic content, especially when it's about things that are neat. You know, That's a good look right there. And in certain cases, you're gonna have those who they gonna make their bread and butter, and they gonna make their bones basically by just catching some form of controversy, shock value. In certain instances, shock value is still something that can be utilized for certain people. But again, how much shock value is really needed? If shock value is all you have to bring great content, how they say that's the one trick pony, um, you're gonna have to come up with something else after that, or space that out. Not every moment has to be a controversial moment. You know? Let's remember that part too. One thing to remember is never quit on yourself, never quit on your thoughts and ideas. And again, just execute what you need to execute. You'll see the results. Searching for bigger, great, but just know what comes with that. The bigger you get, the more problems you get, the more hate you get. It's a lot to deal with. But again, you never let that stop you. If your goal is to just keep on that road of determination, keep on that road of prosperity and growth on either level, whether it's spiritually, mentally, whatever, hey, you don't let nobody knock you down. Only person that can knock down your walls is you. But keep yourself strong, keep yourself consistent, and when it is time to take your break, when it's time for you to put certain things on hiatus, you do so. Not saying that you should ever go on hiatus, but then again, certain things might happen because remember, you do live a life outside of here and outside of anything else you do. You have to remember to learn when to separate your real life from your internet life. And the answer something 702 said yesterday, to be quite honest with you, yeah, there are some people who are going to be, basically driven into these realms of social media. Doesn't matter what platform they utilize. But in that same token, that shouldn't be your everyday life. Your main focus a lot of times should be focusing on what you need done, focusing on building and creating more. Stop focusing on distractions and beefs and all that other shit because it's not good, you know. You gotta waste time to keep doing certain things. You're never gonna progress in the way you need to progress at. And again, if you don't give yourself a clear balance on things, shoot, you're gonna waste even more time. Missing out on opportunity. One thing to remember that if you are on a podcast, whether it's on a grand scale or not, you gotta remember at a certain point, you're gonna have to give your time and your effort to your supporters and everybody, but you also gotta give time to yourself. You can't give your all and give a portion of all of you to the people around. Sometimes you're gonna have to sit back and focus on what you best for you, how you wanna elevate things, and how you wanna keep, you know, implementing things for the rest of your life. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Give me a one in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, good. Give me a one. Mm-mm. Give me a one cheeseburger, a chili dog, and yes, a chili fry. Yes. No, my bad, y'all. But yeah, just something to think about. Some of y'all, you just gonna have to continuously do what you need to do. Stop focusing on nonsense and distractions. And focus on what's important for you and the rest of your days on this earth. Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, I was near something. I think that shit leaking, but yeah, it is what it is. But just mostly want to have this talk tonight. Again, you never lose passion and you never lose any form of inspiration that you have in everything that you do. There's some of you who will probably utilize your broadcasts and your podcast shows for not just gaming and streaming, but might end up putting out or bringing out some new forms of talent, new forms of trends, whether they viral or not. But again, you got to know what your end game is. If your end game is, you know, I want to come do what I do, I'm going to move from there and elevate to something else, then again, you got to make sure you have everything you need intact. You know, everything should be mapped down to a T. And when it comes time to doing what you need to do it. Miss Tia, baby. James over here making homemade chili, man. Come on, man. I'm over here making homemade chili, man. God damn it, James. That's it. That's it. That's it. I was trying not to do that to you. Man. I was trying not to do that to you. Always doing something, man. Shit.
And she wanna get the fucking. She think I'm a cheater, but I really don't do nothing. So why the fuck you always up to something?
Damn it. My fault. That was Red Dead Redemption 8. I had to shoot 2 shots at damn James's grill. Gonna make that chili, man. You know, but you gotta remember that part though. In order for your brand to continuously keep growing, hey, you're gonna have to put in the necessary time and work ethic to make it work. Take some sound advice when you need to take it, but everything else, you gotta use your own brain. Not everybody gonna be able to think for you. especially when you're in the driver's seat. And again, whether you're doing it for long term or short term, it don't matter. The whole purpose is just, again, just being consistent, bringing the best quality of it. You can market some of your clips from your live streams or from your uploads, circle that around. Anything to keep building and doing what's necessary, you implement. But you have to remember that the minute you do decide to give up, it's going to be a hassle trying to restart again. It is. I'm about to get up out of here, Carlos. But I just was wrapping up what I was wrapping up. Another thing I was going to say though, before I do get up out of here, is again bringing in that quality content. You got to know exactly how to execute it so where the people perceive it as great content, and then they keep coming back. But the one thing to remember while you're doing anything that you're doing is just continuously be yourself. Not everybody gonna like you. Not everybody is gonna tolerate you. So what? You know what your goals are. You know what your game plan is. Stick to it. Stick to your guns. Be safe out there, Carlos, man. I already know. Hopefully the pilot do come back on out there, man. You know, it just. But yeah, think about it. Necessary steps for your improvement, your betterment, even on that level, is again knowing what you're putting out, knowing how to dish it out. But again, it's good to move around. You shop around basically until you find the right type of environment that you can produce in. And some people are good in producing in multiple environments. That's just because they're not allowing anything to affect the shape of the brand that they're building. Just something else to think about. In this quote unquote podcast game right now, in my opinion, it's just my opinion. It's all about timing. It's about the timing, the quality, and the execution of everything. And once it becomes impactful, there you go. But again, for those who are just tuning in, y'all can catch this replay. And again, for those that are in the eye of Carlton or Milton, um, again, keep yourself safe. And if you lost power, try to get somewhere where you can get some power, especially if you know you could need it. Or the minute you do get some power back, charge up the devices that you need, especially to reach out to those you might need to reach out to. Those who just came in again, catch this replay. I'm gonna reiterate on this. And there's multiple aspects to it. Hopefully somebody did get something out of it. Oh, and I didn't forget about your birthday babies this week. Just because we're leaving up out of here. That did not mean I forgot about y'all. I did not forget about y'all. I did not forget about y'all. Definitely appreciate y'all for rocking out tonight. You know, appreciate those who becoming part of the build and still becoming a part of the build. Still gonna have some conversations. For those following me on Clapper, we will be in the building tomorrow, definitely. We'll definitely be in there Friday as well. So, you know, got some shenanigans prepared. So, you know, yeah. But yeah, definitely a great talk. And again, hopefully somebody did get something out of this. Always a blessing to bring something to the people, and that's what we're gonna keep doing. Let's not even forget about y'all. Y'all get the 2 for 2. You know, I ain't got no damn sense. I told y'all to take my damn advice. Y'all ain't listen, but guess what? Told y'all that, damn it. Told y'all doesn't see y'all don't listen. Y'all don't listen. But yeah, definitely was a great one. And again, let me get up out of here. But again, yeah, tomorrow I will be in the building on Clapper. I will be in the building at 6 o'clock. That's a fact. 7 o'clock the latest. 7 o'clock the latest. But again, you know, hopefully y'all enjoy the rest of the evenings. Y'all stay safe. Again, for those celebrating birthdays, whether you're celebrating it today or you're celebrating it on the weekend, it don't matter. You know, get your vibe on for your boy. You know, toast up to the good life. You know, and continuously keep moving forward. And I didn't forget about y'all again. I did not forget about y'all
I'm gonna
again.
keep it 100 with you. I normally
I can't use that one. I can't use that one yet. I can't use that one. I might be able to use that one tomorrow. Might be able to use that one. But I'm gonna use that one today. There you go. There you go. Now I feel a little better. Now I feel a little better. But y'all stay safe. And I'll see y'all in the morning, most likely. If y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to the replay game. Shout out to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. Everybody that was in attendance today, y'all already know that love is love and it be reciprocated as such. I'm not to be fake. All I can do is give you real. That's all I'm gonna do is give you real topics and real bills. And then for the bitch ass nigga that's still trying to come in here and be a part of the content.
Motherfucker.
And hold this for good measurement, you know. I would hope you stop trolling and progressing something in your life and learn something, but we know that's not going to be the case. Yeah, so let me not say what I'm going to say because I'm going to feel bad about saying it. So, you know. I don't want to feel bad about saying this. So I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that alone. But y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. And until the next live, we out of here. Peace and blessings.